So you asked about colleges and university, federal student loans, traffic tickets. All right, let me nail those three into one. It's the same thing. It's notice. And the traffic tickets I don't really think are that important because you're nailing them out with the DMV. You're canceling the contract that gained the ability to do a traffic ticket or to have jurisdiction over you through the license. And so it would be something if it's important, like you had a lot and you want to notice them. But I don't think the traffic tickets would be necessary. Federal student loans. Your question is, do they need to be paid in full prior to changing of status? Now, understand something. You're not the registered organization. You're not the birth certificate. They own the birth certificate. You used to own the live born record. The mother gave the live born record to the state. The state registered it, put it on 32-pound watermark banknote paper, and now monetized it. They own the birth certificate. So they own the copyright of the quote unquote all caps name that you keep using, which means holding an office too. So you got student loans at some point, you owe a quote unquote debt. Now the question is are they going to be able to collect on that debt if you desire to stop paying on the debt? And the answer is no. You would be in a position after the process, you'd be in a position after the living in the private process to not have to worry about whether the asset would be collected or not, or your assets would be collected or not due to the fact that you didn't pay on a student loan. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. You may feel an obligation to pay on a student loan. You may feel like because you learned something, you need to pay them back. That's up to you. I guarantee they monetize that in a form and fashion that there was no money loaned to you, period. So that's really up to you. But no, they do not need to be paid prior to you changing your status. And it is not you that is paying. You are holding an office to the artificial person that is in fact meaning you're being the trustee of that trust. So you're making a payment on behalf of the trust every single month through the personal account that is the trust account that you've obligated yourself to make a payment from. You're doing the sweat equity work because you're holding that job position as a United States citizen, and you want to make sure you're getting those student loans paid. So you made an automatic payment through your personal account to the government to make sure that that was paid every month. And so that's really how it works. And jurisdiction is gained over the student loan being not addressed. It's gained over a personal account that you didn't close. If it were me, I wouldn't pay on it for a couple of years. And I do know that some student loans will settle, some student loans will not, some just plain and simple go away, some are being forgiven. A lot of them are being forgiven right now for whatever reason. But it will not affect your status. Now, the only thing that does affect your status is if you continue to go into an operation mode of being the trustee of the trust versus being beneficial interest. And that's something that we kind of teach you from an application standpoint on how we fill out an application. How are we signing it? Are we putting the word "by" in front of our name? Are we reserving our rights on the application? Do we cross out U.S. citizen? Do we cross out U.S. person? Or are we contracting like we did 20 years ago? And so it's a difference of how we picking up these contracts now, so they can't hold them over us and show any court or anybody that they've gained jurisdiction because we've agreed to holding that office. And that's really all it is. A continued use of a social security number, continued use of holding an office. That's how they gain jurisdiction over you.